Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lineup with special guests here in the studio. But first, as always, our weather by Haney Technical Center. Well, they didn't actually make the weather. They're sponsoring the weather section right here. High today is 84 and low is 62, but the water temperature is 77. That's what I was looking at. It sort of stayed level in here and hadn't dropped, but it will be dropping soon. We talked about that yesterday. River readings, take a look at those again. It's just like they have been for like 5 or 6 consecutive weeks. At Apalachicola Bluntstown is below a foot. It's at a 0.5 this morning. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville is at a 1.8. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. We're going to be in neap tides today, tomorrow, and Friday. But if you look at Saturday morning, we've got a little bit of a drop early in the morning. So we're going to have a little bit of moving tide, but the rest of the day won't be. But Saturday morning early, if you want to get out and do something, get out there early while that tide is dropping out pretty fast, okay? The marine forecast, east-southeast at about 10 to 15. All right, it takes care of all of our marine weather, so let's take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Sitting here with Travis Basford, FWC officer. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're sitting here talking about catch and release. Let's start off with this picture here. Tell us about this picture right here, Travis.
Well, last Saturday, had the opportunity to go, and me and my 85-year-old granddad went fishing, and that was a local spot. We just went from the bank, and actually went with another officer friend of mine, and had a great time. It was a great morning. We were bundled up there because Saturday we had that front come through, and the wind was blowing, but he ended up catching more flounder than anybody else. We caught some flounder and this nice redfish, and just had a great time.
And you said it measured a little bit over, right?
Just a little bit over. It was one of those ones when you're reeling it in, you're like, maybe he's going to be slot, and then you get him up there, and he was just over 28. And you know, we were just talking about before the show, he hated to throw that fish back.
I was laughing about it right before we came on. I said, I bet if you brought us some scissors, you could tell your granddad, we'll cut the tail off granddad and make him.
He'd been going with that, but I wasn't doing it. So.
But we're talking about that generation, my dad, and all. You know, if they knew we threw back fish now, he'd still get on to me.
He would.
Said, son, don't you know there's good fish to eat?
Exactly.
But anyway, that's great. It's great you went out with your granddad, and that's fun doing it.
Oh, it was awesome. We hadn't been in a while, and he had a ball out there. Again, we were just fishing from the bank, and that redfish was a nice fish, but he tore up some flounder now. He had a good time.
Oh, that's awesome. We've talked about, you've seen some of the pictures, flounder fishing is going ideal now.
Yep.
What's been going, how you been doing the past month or so? You been busy?
I've been doing great. I think that's about the only time I've been out fishing that, and me and Nicole went one time back at the beginning of October, but just busy, man. Busy with work, busy with the family and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, but enjoying life. We've got all these hunting seasons coming up, so it's that transition time where we're kind of changing from working fishermen a lot to working hunters in the woods.
Okay, I've got a couple questions for you. One thing, did the dove ever show up at Jackson County?
Not at our place.
Isn't that something?
We had a little bit. Now we've had this cooler weather, and I've got to go back and scout and look. But that whole first phase, we never had the big numbers like we were looking for. And I talked to several other farmers and other officers up there, and it was the same way. They actually, some other officers had a place where they had planted corn and millet, and they had all kinds of stuff for them, and they just didn't show up. Yeah. But this next phase, maybe they'll push some down. We've had the cooler weather, so.
Well, when you hear it from people like that who are out there in the field and doing that, then that's a true report. I mean, it's not word of mouth. That's coming through as an excellent report. But I'm like you. The domestic birds really didn't show up, but maybe the migratory birds will.
Exactly. We're looking forward to that. And usually the cooler weather will push them down. And then on the water, like you said, the flounder bite's been really hot. And I've heard a lot, and as you see from the picture, the redfish. Mm-hmm. Redfish around the bridges, even still on the flats and in the paths, they've just been hammering the redfish and catching a lot, and a lot of them are oversized, so they're catching release, but they're catching slot fish too. Mm-hmm. So
good. Been going good. Okay, what else has been going on, right?
Well, we've got some seasons we can go over here, and then I want to talk about some hunter safety stuff, which is real important. Yeah. So we'll do that after the break. But the seasons, Monday, phase 1 closed with the dove. So no dove hunting until phase 2 opens. That's going to be November 12th. Mm-hmm. And the thing to remember about that is that's when you can hunt a half hour before sunrise to sunset, whereas phase one, just afternoon hunting. And I've never really done it much, but I've talked to a lot of people that have done those morning dove hunts, and they like it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've never done it, but I know Stan and some of the other guys have done it. They did enjoy it.
Yeah, so they say it's just as good as some of your good afternoon shoots. So that'll be a good thing and a good opportunity that people can take advantage of. November 12th through December 5th, and it'll close again for another week and open again for phase 3. That's when everybody's usually deer hunting, but phase 3 is December 12th through January 15th.
That's a good time to go.
Yeah, it is, and that's when it'll be cool. And I know the last couple years that first phase has been really slow on our farm, and then on the way to the deer stand, a couple afternoons I'd see birds flying in, and I know I stopped on a hill and we have a power line there looking over one of our peanut fields, and I saw some birds up there and said, well, let me just sit here a minute, and they were coming in like you wouldn't believe. But at that point everyone's interested in deer hunting.
That's right.
So we never ended up shooting them, but maybe we'll try it
They
this year.
change that this year, yeah. They come
Exactly.
in like that, right.
And another thing with duck season, it's going to be coming up, open soon. They're going to draw the lake down, I think,
It's soon, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be either 100, 110 days. I saw it was going to be a really long drawdown this year because the weeds have gotten so bad. And I don't want to quote the date on that, but I heard it's going to be longer than usual.
It is.
And that will affect the waterfowl season on Deer Point Lake.
I really hadn't thought about that, but you're right, it will.
It's going to, because there's going to be a lot of holes that duck hunters usually go to that's going to be just dry land.
Yeah.
Because they're going to, what they want to do is they want to control the vegetation. It's just in my lifetime, I've seen that lemon pocopa weeds and some others just take over the lake, and it's bad. It's like over 60% of the lake's covered now.
You see it up on a regular basis.
Yes, sir.
You grew up there, so you've seen what's happened.
Oh, it's night and day.
And one thing, we're just not getting into really cold weather to kill it when we let it down.
You're right.
And that's something we have no control over.
Exactly. Last couple of years, it's been like that, and that's what they want. When they do a drawdown, they can only draw it down so far, but when they do, they need some hard freezes to kill that stuff, and then hopefully they're hoping some residents around their docks and their property will pull that up on land, get rid of it, and pull it out of there. But anyways, they've been fighting a losing battle the last couple of years, but they're hoping this year with a longer drawdown and we get a good hard winter that it'll be successful.
Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll come right back with Travis. Welcome back, folks. Always glad you're watching Panhandle Outdoors, America's only live TV show, and we just appreciate the viewing audience. We get a lot of feedback, and we try to bring you a bunch of good news and good things that's happening instead of any bad news and all that. We get to look at some pictures and all that when people catch fish or take deer and all, we get to share them with you, and these are all up-to-date things, and it's just really, really cool to have this show. So, and then we get guests like Travis Bassford, who grew up here and is a law enforcement officer and just really does an outstanding job. And at the end of the show, we always do this case of the month, and I guess you got another good one.
Oh, it's going to be a great one.
All right, but let's talk about this. We got hunter safety coming up.
Yes, we do, and it's something that's really important. We stress boating safety in the summertime and springtime, and in the fall and winter, it's hunter safety. And I wish I'd have done this a couple seasons ago, but we're about to get into the meat and potatoes of hunting season, November, December, January for the Northwest region. And I'm going to go over the hunter safety requirement, and then we've actually got some local classes coming up very soon that if you have a child or a grandchild, or if you need to take it, you can take advantage of that opportunity. So the requirement is if you're born on or after June 1st, 1975, okay, then you must pass a hunter safety course before purchasing a hunting license in the state of Florida. The state of Florida does honor hunting safety hunter safety courses from other states if you're a non-resident or if you've moved to Florida, but you need to take a hunter safety course in order to get a hunting license if you're born after that date. It's important because, unfortunately we do have hunting accidents just like we have boating accidents, and it goes over firearm safety, it goes over ethics, it goes over a lot of good things that especially young hunters need to be exposed to. There's one exemption, and I talked about this a little bit last year, but it's the hunter safety mentoring exemption. What that does is it allows someone to purchase a hunting license without having the hunter safety course if they're under the supervision of someone 21 years of age or older that has either the hunter safety course or is exempt for 1 year only.
Okay.
That allows someone to try out the sport of hunting before they want to go and as me and you know, it's expensive to get all the gear, get set up, and do all that, and see if they like it. After that first year, then they're gonna have to get a hunting, go through the hunter safety course to purchase a hunting license. So that's pretty cool.
That's a good idea. Really.
It is, and they did that a few years ago, and there's a lot of people, they get in these hunter safety courses. It's the first time they've been around a firearm. It's the first time they've done that. So it's great to have someone to show them that when they're out in the field as well, if they decide to go that route. We've got some locally coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. Saturday, Sunday is going to be the traditional hunter safety course and skill day. That's November 5th and 6th. It's going to be up at the FWC range off Steelfield Road, the Bay County Firearms Range. And when I say traditional, that's where it's actually a 2-day course. The first day is instruction. It's going to be classroom. We have an FWC officer come out, teach the law enforcement section. Officer Dennis Palmer does a great job, and he usually teaches that in our area here in Bay County. And then the second day is the skills day, where they're going to have bow and arrows, usually have like a 22. Then they've got a shotgun where the students shoot clays or skeet, and show them again the proper way to do things.
We were talking about that traditional course. Of course, that's one we originally had, and then went to a lot of people doing off the internet and all. But this is better. This hands-on. We talked about. If you can take a traditional course, I'd recommend it for your kids and grandkids or whatever, for young people. If you can take it, it's just better.
Exactly.
It's simple as that.
I agree completely, because it is the traditional course. It's a 2-day. You're going to set a weekend aside, but then you're set for the rest of your life to hunt safely. Exactly. There is an online course like Winston was talking about, and that's where you actually take the classroom portion online, but then you still have to attend the skills day and get some hands-on experience. So November 5th and 6th here in Bay County, and then November 12th, that's going to be for your internet students, just a skill day, and then also on December 3rd, that's all up there at the Bay County Firearms Range off Steelfield Road. We've got some coming up in Walton County as well. I know you got viewers over there. December 3rd and 4th, that's a traditional course over there in Defuniak. And then Washington County at Hard Labor Creek Plantation. I had the privilege of going there one time. It's a beautiful place.
Yes.
And that's going to be November 5th as well. And that's for the internet students, just a skill day up there at Hard Labor Creek. So.
Well, that knocks out 3 counties right there, and you don't have to live in those counties. You can come over from another county and take those.
Yep, come over and knock it out, and then you're set up for this year, because again, after about that November 5th, we get all of our, like I say, the meat and potatoes of hunting season, where we get general gun and we get all our waterfowl seasons and all that stuff. So really a good opportunity, and you can go online, you click on go to myfwc.com, click on hunting and safety and education. You need to go online to register for these courses by following those links.
Okay, excellent idea. I see on the shooting days they shoot a bow and a 22 and they shoot all these.
They do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's really a great course. And then one thing also they've started doing recently is a bow hunter education course, which when I started bow hunting, I didn't even know it was around, or I don't think it was around.
It wasn't.
But that's a great course too, and it talks about how to set up your bow, distance shooting, blood trail, stuff like that, because that's one of the unfortunately one of the biggest complaints we have. Bow hunters, sometimes they have wounded game because you're not using a firearm. It goes over all these things, tree stand safety. And that's a real good course too that you can do, especially if you have a young bow hunter. And a lot of states actually require that you complete a bow hunter education course, a certified one, before you bow hunt. Florida doesn't have that requirement, but we'd encourage you to go.
Right, good idea. Good idea.
So.
Okay, all right. That's all of our dates and
that's hunter safety. There, it wraps that
very
up.
Good.
So.
All right, good. We're going to take a final break and come back with our case of the month. Okay, welcome back. Let's go over our fishing game times for today. We're looking at 8:54 to 10:54 this morning, and this evening from 9:17 to 11:17. So I went fishing with Captain Roy Ray on Monday, and we actually caught most of our fish in those times that I gave you on the show Monday morning. So it's interesting to keep up with these. Man, that's really when a lot of times it corresponds with the tide moving too. And it's good. All right, so we're going to finish up on this. What else on this? Red snapper.
Sure, yeah. We can't go through a show, I guess, without talking about red snapper, even here in October going into November. So I want to remind everyone, because of Hurricane Hermine, they extended red snapper season into November, and you're actually going to have 3 weekends to where red snapper is going to be open in state waters and available to be harvested. I'm going to go over those dates real quick, and then we can go over, we got an awesome case of the month. So red snapper, this is just in state waters, 9 miles out and in. Anything past that is considered federal water, so it's closed. So as always, know where you're at when you're fishing for red snapper. It's going to be on, November 5th and 6th. Okay, so that's going to be a Saturday, Sunday there. The 11th and 12th, following weekend. And then it's going to be open the 25th, 26th, and 27th, which is around the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
So we were talking about, that's going to be kind of weird. You can fish for red snapper on Thanksgiving. But those are the 3 weekends that red snapper is going to be open in state waters. So if you want to take advantage, a lot of people are hunting during that time, but there's a lot of people that don't hunt and love to fish. And
here's
it's a great time.
I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 things. During Thanksgiving, that's one I'm going to try. Hunting and fishing during Thanksgiving goes together to me.
Yeah.
And so we're going to try to do that.
That'll be cool.
Okay, case of the month.
Okay.
You want to show this picture first?
Yeah, let's show this. Let's show this pretty boy right here.
All right. Tell us about this picture.
Okay, this is one of our local K9 dogs. His name is Kane, Chocolate Lab, and he's assigned to Officer Matt Gore. He's our K9 for this area, and he does a great job. And Kane did a great job. And the reason I show this picture because they're both involved in this case of the month. But before I talk about the case of the month, I'll talk a little bit about our K9 program. We have mostly labs. We've got some other dogs, but what they're trained in fish and wildlife detection. And when I say fish and wildlife detection, sometimes it's a particular species of fish and wildlife that they will alert to when they smell, when they detect that presence. They're also trained in firearm detection. If somebody was to shoot a deer at night and throw a weapon out the window, we can go back with one of our K9 units and locate that weapon. And then another great tool they have with their nose is man tracking. And we've assisted sometimes when, the corrections office, when a prisoner escapes, or if an individual is to run from another law enforcement officer or an FWC officer, Kane could track him up. It also comes in handy for search and rescue. If we need to get in there and find somebody that's been lost in the woods or somebody that's injured, maybe fell out of a tree stand, Kane can do that as well. And he's got a great nose. He does great on all 3 of those facets there.
Yeah, great dogs. Labradors are amazing. I've had them most of my life up until about a year ago. And they're so, their nose is so sensitive.
It is.
So what happened on this case?
Well, this is one with our K9 Kane, Officer Matt Gore, and Officer Steve Wicker. They received a call. It was here in Bay County over in East Bay. They received a call, a complaint from a citizen that we had some individuals that were harvesting over the bag limit of redfish, and they arrived on scene. They actually arrived on scene about the same time, but 2 modes of transportation. Officer Wicker arrived on the boat, and then Officer Gore with a K9 arrived by land. So Officer Wicker was checking some people in a smaller vessel there on the water, and Officer Gore was conducting an inspection on land. Well, he talked to the individuals that matched the description of the complaint, and he let Kane, the K9, work in the parking lot. And Kane's smelling around, and he alerted on a vehicle. And when he alerts, it's one of the things I mentioned before. So he alerted on the vehicle. Officer Gore contacted the owner of the vehicle and said, "Hey, my dog alerted on your vehicle. What do you have?" And there was a cooler, happened to be a cooler in the back of the truck. And of course, inside the cooler was fresh scales, fresh blood, and fresh slime, but no fish.
Oh.
So Kane found the truck, which then led to a search of the cooler and then a short interview, which then resulted in Officer Gore and Officer Wicker. They caught the individuals with 7 redfish.
So they had caught them and
well, what they did is they kind of hit them around the corner at a different location. But they had been in that cooler just minutes before they got there. But because the nose of the K9 and was able to identify, who the owner of the cooler was. So the owner of the cooler in the vehicle and his passenger, they were cited for possession of over the bag limit of redfish. And then Officer Wicker, actually 2 other guys that were fishing with those individuals were on the boat, and he addressed a fishing license violation that they had out there. So we used our resources there. We used our boats, our trucks, and then our K9 to make a great case. And it was an awesome job by Matt Gore and Kane, the K9 too.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, that's a group effort right there.
Exactly.
And it started with a phone call from.
Started with a phone call from a citizen who saw these guys catching too many redfish, and they're biting right now. They really are. So, but you got to show restraint. So they had 7. They actually were all slot fish. So they allowed them to keep their legal bag limit, which is 1 per person, allowed them to keep 2, and then they seized the remaining 5 as evidence because obviously that was too many over the bag limit. So it was a great job, and it's nice when a plan comes together and you can get there in time. A lot of times we don't get there in time, but like I say every time, call us because sometimes we're right around the corner and we can get there and address these violations.
Oh, that's awesome. So we as citizens, especially as citizens of outdoors, we've got to take responsibility and help out. Like, for instance, if we out in the wildlife management area and we see some corn dumped out and all, we need to let y'all know, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah, that's against the rules on public land. There's a couple different things that can happen. What happens is if someone gets if they're baiting on a WMA, then sometimes they get territorial and say, hey, this is my spot, which really it's everyone's spot.
Right.
And please give us a call. And most people, if they're out in the woods or on the water enough, they know when something isn't right. And for the ethical hunter and fisherman, it kind of aggravates them because, again, when you're taking that resource and going over the bag limit, in this case, you're taking fish away from somebody else.
You're stealing,
that wants to legally do it.
Yeah. All right, that is a great case, and those canines are amazing, aren't they?
They are.
I mean, really. I wish I had a video of him just walking around, just sat down right there, didn't he?
Yep.
Alerted.
He alerted right there,
That's
and
cool.
they went on several vehicles, because they didn't, when they first got on scene, they didn't really know who they were, whose vehicles, what, and when he alerted on it, said, hey, we know we got something, and sure enough, in that cooler, again, he was smelling the scent of that redfish that was just in there, so.
That's awesome. Matt was excited, wasn't he?
He was. He was. He does a great job, and they go through a very extensive training program before they're allowed to go in the field.
Yeah.
And they make a great team. So.
That's awesome. We got to get him to come on one day with a dog or something. Y'all maybe go out in the field with him.
That'd be great.
We're running out of time again.
Okay. Always enjoy it.
Oh, great job, Travis. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for watching our show. We appreciate the viewership. Do something good for your fellow man today. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.